What shame. What is going on?
The history of rebellion is rife with burnout. Burnout, which Parker Palmer has defined as violating my own nature in the name of nobility.
Oh, they couldn't wait.
It's an act of rebellion to show up as someone trying to be whole, and I would add, as someone who believes that there is a hidden wholeness beneath the very evident brokenness of our world.
Bash. What are they saying? The inner life of rebellion. Oh. Oh, the podcast. On Being. The On Being Project. What is it even saying? Well, it says pursuing deep thinking and social courage. Social courage. Wow, it just isn't it amazing how they just cook up all these terms? This one with this one, and it will mean this now. It's just like making your own molecules of word verbiage vomit. Social courage. Moral imagination and joy. Exactly, because truly it is. It's a fantasy. What moral, what morality you live. I mean, to you, moral is who knows what it is. It's just somehow good. Just trying your best. That's moral to you, and it's your blastness of imagination and joy. Just relentless pleasure. That's what it's telling you. To renew inner life. How does one renew inner life? Outer life and life together. What? Bash! On, right? The on being, the being on. It's just a switch. They see you as a switch that you just flick on. The being that you relentlessly just friction, 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 and blast, right? They couldn't wait. The little button that you just press, the little bean, the little circle that you just friction, 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 friction. That's why it's a pursuit of deep thinking. Who knew that that was the abyss, chasing the dragon? The pursuit of happiness and this and this. So just, we believe that everyone has the right and deserves to pursue their deep thinking and social courage in moral imagination and joy, to renew the bash that they call their inner life and their outer life and somehow life together. What a shame. The On Beam Project is a media and public life initiative. Is a media and public life initiative. Who knew? It's an initiative, it's a project, it's a program through the media, through the image worship of somehow public life initiative. Public life initiative. Public life. All these bash terminologies. So public life initiatives for social courage. What a shame. We make a public radio show. Wow. Podcast. Wow. And tools for the art of living. The art. There's no art in living. Do you live or do you create art and call that life? Exactly. Wow. No, it's just an art and living. Somehow we just synthesize everything. Synthesize. Right. You consider yourself the relentless sorcerer, just cooking up spirits and just smashing it into whatever flesh you want. You believe you to be the mad scientist that has put all the pieces of the mashed death that you worship together and created a life for yourself. Who knew? Of course, surround yourself by relentless bulks and lights. Exactly, that's what you worship. Apparent knowledge of blast, who knows, but somehow you fill yourself with it. And lights. Splitteth. You're split, all while circle jerking each other and calling it a day. Who knew? Because that's what they're about, social healing. What a shame. We explore the intersection of spiritual inquiry. Because that's what there's questions about spirituality, but that's it. There's only questions. There's only questions, and you can ponder on them. Yes. But then there's science, and then there's social healing, and then there's community, and then there's poetry, and then there's arts. So guys, get it together. It's all separate. Now you just gotta get it together somehow and collect all the pieces. Create your own little Frankenstein and call it a day. Amazing! Because I'm gonna be frank with you. You just gotta spoil like a frank, and then try to sew yourself back together, even though you worship the death. The death apparently that are living somehow by your own will. And your own madness. You're MacGyver. You're such a genius. I used somehow the electricity to create something alive. Bashed. Smashed. Not have a clue. Learn more about what you're building and how we reimagined this digital space. In this letter from founder and CEO Krista Pippett. Exactly. Marking 15 years with a new gathering place. Aww. Wow, look at all this she has to say. P.S. We welcome any feedback you have about the new experience of onbeing.org, including reports of unexpected bugs you might encounter. Really? Well, I have relentless bugs on me, so should I just report them to you? And you'll take care of it. Thank you. With deep gratitude and, yes, love, of course. Right? She couldn't wait. She couldn't wait just to have just her own little unique signature somehow, and commas, and amazing. Now it's me. Trust her. She's being so authentic and so original. Wow, amazing. It's been a year of expansion and deepening. Wow, you're just deepening that and stretching yourself. Right? You're just stretching yourself, deepening that hole, that void inside of you. Wow, in and out and it just gets deeper every time you just stretch it out. Amazing, you love it. At the On Being Project, our beautiful team, yes, they are worshipers of beauty. Couldn't wait. Vanity just staring in front of you. Has more than doubled in size to be of greater service in a tender, right? It's all about comfort, just tender. And tumultuous, oh, so much moment in the life of the world, right? So grandiose. It's just come to this. I'm delighted to announce that Lucas Johnson has joined us as the first executive director of the Civil Conversations Project. Oh, we have civil conversations, people. And we have a project about it. Just civil servants. Just we've been civil servants as far as I remember. So we'll just have a little conversation about it and call it a project. Bash! You may remember him from such films as Nobody Gives a Bash. And I'm beyond excited to announce the launch of a whole new gathering space. Yes, a new hub of defilement, a new rehabilitation slash retraining slash brainwashing outlet. Who knew? And experience here at onbeing.bash. Our website had become unwidely under the weight of 15 years content, so they just need a reset. Yay! Minimalizing. Yay, they believe in the baby Buddha just ravaging cutting the lawn for them and saying, look, you see, all you needed was to shave your head and somehow be enlightened. Yes! Rebirth. It's the symbolism, right? To you, it's like, no, you don't understand. It's not just about shaving your head. You have to shave your whole body and be like a child somehow. Smashed. You have no idea what you're doing. You just follow and see monkey do. Why? You believe yourself to be an ape. Amazing. Somehow a sapien. From the cube to the quadra, right? You want to be all the shapes. You want them all. You were like, what? I'm a cube. No, I want to be a dodecahedron. No, I want to be some other bash. What? Oh, it just looks so cool, and it looks like a fractal, and this and this. Smashed. No clue. Zero. Dribbled. Ping ponged. Just relentlessly switched into nothing. Our website had become way down, so now they had to reinvent themselves. Who knew that the founders, right? Oh, this is just hilarious. Um, like LeVay, who gives a bash how to spell it? It's a bash. Yes. So, so her daughter, the Satanic Bible, this Zena. So who knew that she was an advocate for Satanism? Raised with her father's organization, Church of Satan, she came to international prominence early in life as a church first spokesperson defending the organization during the 80s. Right? Of course, look it up. There's videos of it, interviews, articles. I mean, whatever. There's even she wrote books. Amazing. Yes. The forward in the satanic witch and all this stuff. Whatever. Uh, Anton, right? Served ties with her father, Anton LaVey, and his church, and renounced the church tenets. Really? In 1990, it had to be 1990 66. Right? I mean, it's just there on your face. So in 1990, she, right? In 1990, she resigned her position, severed ties with her father, Anton LaVey, and his church, apparently, and renounced the church's tenets. Who knew that that's what worshipper of Lucifer does? Shapeshifts for its self-preservation. It's like a witch. She will just shapeshift in all the colors and appear as something new that you'll just eat the apple that just puts you in a deep sleep. As per the story of Snow White. But what is going on? What is going on? No, couldn't be. Because now She is a tantric Buddhist. So I mean, and it's if this isn't just another shape-shifting version of Satanism, what I mean, I don't know what it is, because it's the same thing. Tibetan tantric Buddhism, all based on the flesh. So I mean, it's the whispers that were happening, and you say, "Oh, they're ancient. They're so ancient." Really? Right. Just like Genghis Khan and all these other batches, yeah, nobody knows, but somehow they just defiled and destroyed, right? Somehow savage, but they were fair and all this stuff. And what is good? See, people, it's truly a timeless era. People have no idea, zero, and they don't even care because they don't know. It doesn't mean that it's not there for them to see. They just choose not to. Exactly. They chose to blind themselves so that they could just see through one eye and just, it's okay. It's A-okay. Don't worry. I don't want to see. All the while, you're like, yes, the third eye, blah, 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 smashed. So, these people relentlessly shape-shifting. Who knew? The first spokesperson, right, for the Church of Satan and all this stuff, then automatically just magically resigns her position. Sever her ties with her father, sure. Because Satanism is truly the doctrine of do as thou wilt. So, if they truly worship Satan, right, then they're just like, just turn on a dime, just like Satan would. So, exactly, they're Satanists. All the while worshipping their flesh and just shape-shifting so they can just still have relevance and keep deceiving people. In whichever, name, label, appearance best suits whatever position they might be able to hold to keep deceiving. Who knew? No, 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 it couldn't be, no, no. Just like Mark Passio and his bash, he's a ex-Satanist and this and this. Why can't we all admit that we're living as the children of Satan? And it is us to renounce that and rejoice in the way that Christ had revealeth. For surely he was speaking to the people that followed him and that wanted and acknowledged the worship, the direction of the worship that they were placing into the Lord, the Creator, God. Yes. They weren't seeking some bash, Buddhist, Tantric, Tibetan bash that said nothing. No. They didn't go to some, shrine or mosque or this. No. Who knew that Christ said, no, these, the worship and institutions of separation. What are you doing? You've forgotten what worship is. You're now worshiping idols and false, just symbols and just scribblings and this and this and that and this. It means this to me and that to me. No, worship the Creator, worship God. Yes, the Father who knew. No, 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 it couldn't be. You have to worship my tantric Buddhism and all the esoteric bash that they teach. The secular congate of biblical wisdom, who knew? The derivative of the derivative. The born again, shape-shifted, rehash, bash message of one love and one, world. It's the bash notion of the golden rule. It's just cherry picking from all the supposed, esotericism and mysticism and just creating some bash, a Frankenstein rule. It's just one ring to rule them all. All in enticing you that it's somehow world peace. No, for even the religions themselves are flawed. They were chased. Christ chased them. He said, "What are you doing?" For truly it's not to go to a church and give donations what following Christ is. No. Worshipping the Father, worshipping God. No, surely it's not that. Going to some bash place where you just bend down and kneel, sing some bash and what? Give money, feel yourself better, and then go defile the rest of the time that you think you're living. Wow, what are you doing? Smashed. What? Praying to some bash idols that just what? No, fast and pray. Be still with the Lord. Who knew? You don't have to blast into some astral plane of nothing and just be defiled by baby Buddha and his just it's just the Starship Troopers. You believe in the all the Marvel ideas of fantasy, the superheroes. Yeah, I want to join all my galactic family that just whispered nothing to me. Boast and tell me how amazing I am in my own defilement. Right? Because look, she's just everywhere. But who knew that all these high priestesses and priests, they're not in the forefront. They're out in obscurity, okay? They hide in the showers. Yes, in the showers and in the shadows. Because truly what they're doing is truly deceiving. And they use every tool that they can. Who knew? Music, right? Film, books. Oh. And exactly. That's the way they do it. And then you worship them as like, "Oh, the great thinkers of the 21st century, right? To you this is going to be some great thinker, or you boast and say, "Well, they were surely part of something significant." No, they're part of the deception of man. Who knew? And just because she renounced it, wow, does she now recognize the error in her way and accept Christ as her savior? And he who showeth, just revealeth the way. And worship God, the one true living God, the only God. No, she just believes in the elements, natural philosophy, and just huffing and puffing and stretching, and somehow that's how you fill yourself through unattachment, relying on some kundalini, your serpent, because it's all sexual energy, blah blah blah, and sexual energy. It's all just sexual to you. It's just fleshly, just sexual. But it's the yin and the yang, and somehow you make it esoteric sounding. But it comes down to your bash groin and how you can smash it in and out. Just smashed, no clue. No children. Fine, right? Her choice, her will. Exactly. Satan's doctrine. And you'll say, "Oh, what? Women are just mothers?" Yes, they're the mothers of life on earth. Who knew? Wow. And then you boast in having the choice to either, be a mother or not be a mother. Wow. So you're denying what you are, saying that you have the choice to decide whether or not you are what you are. Well, what a shame. Exactly. The peak of your arrogance, the peak of your separation, your peak of your splitting, the peak of your shattering. Who knew? You've been deceived. Right? The Satanic Bible. Azina, a member of the people who saw the famous photo of Satanic Church baptism as a tiny tot. Oh. So somehow she was just completely into it, and then in 1990 she just renounced it. They don't say why. She just severed all ties. Could it be that she was given a new agenda, so listen, you're gonna say you're gonna publicly say you're dismantled ties with Satanism, blah blah, and now you're a tantric Buddhist promoting the light, the worship of light. So now instead of saying yes, hail Satan and this and this and that, now you just say, "Oh, we're just love and light." Same bash. And just because it shapeshifts and now people think it's so popular and cool to be, some bash, whatever sect of Buddhism that you prefer. Yes, collect them all. What does it even mean? Exactly. Cherry picking from Proverbs all around, just believing in the multiple, angles of the same bash, the one ring that has been forged to just rule over you. The secular cognate who knew of biblical wisdom, because it surely has to be based in biblical wisdom, for it is the ultimate truth. Not that it's the wisdom of the Father which is alive, of the Creator. The Word is alive. Who knew? It's not dead. It's not something written in a book. It's what the wisdom. It's the wisdom it offers. For in seeking refuge in truth, wisdom is revealed. Not your wisdom, not man's wisdom. No, the wisdom of the Creator that showeth and revealeth to you as you're able to see. So what do you see? Exactly. You say, no, 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 I see just the suffering. Yeah, you just see hypocrisy and then you get angry and you're emotional. Exactly. Void. You have no idea what the unconditional love of the Father is, all while seeking it in things like the satanic witch and everything that just tells me to self-help and this and this. Televangelist Bob Larson. While promoting the book, Zena appeared with her husband Nicholas Schrack, this other bash, who is also another tantric Buddhist. Now they're the power couple, right? So why was it that one left this? They have both had to do it, right? So it couldn't be Xena that she maybe renounced Satanism, but this guy didn't. No, apparently they both did it. Why? Surely it's not that following Satan's doctrine, because Satan's doctrine is do as thou will, and if your man doesn't support you, who gives a damn? Go get another one and use him. That's Satanism. That's the witch. That's the true witch. Just using her sexual power to just manipulate and manifest whatever she wants. So why did they both do it? Did they all of a sudden say, oh, it's not about sexual energy? No, now it is totally about sexual energy. Fully, because isn't that what Tantra is all about? Tantric Buddhism. And you say, no, it's just more than that. There's a branch of it that's just based on just sex. No, what is it? It's all just a web. Just totally defiling you. Filmmaker and Tantric Buddhist religious teacher based in Berlin. Of course, Germany. They still believe themselves the purest. They're always bettering this and that and the other this. The Reich philosophy. Luciferian philosophy. Who knew? So they're just shapeshifters because truly their worship is still the same. Serving the light. Worshipping the light. Day in, day out, Groundhog Day. Deceiving, kill, steal, destroy. All for just receiving the rewards of the flesh. These guys keep, going out there doing, talks and this and how to expand and this and that and this. So they're still out there just deceiving. Amazing. Because before it was all about, go Satan. Yeah, so what? We worship Satan. So what? Everybody else is allowed to worship this and that. So just a rebel. And now they're like, oh, well, it's just still a lie, but we just are we're more sophisticated now. Because who knew they say, being, the Satanist, the open, it's just the open rebel. So they just want to tone it down and be a little more sophisticated. So they call themselves Bash, Tantric, Buddhist, whatever, Bash. Shapeshifting, fitting in. Wolves in sheep's clothing, who knew? Leaving the church of Satan. According to the website, in the process of defending the Church of Satan from these unfounded claims in the U.S., mass media, Zena's media appearances attracted a new upsurge of membership to formerly moribund organization, even as she became to question and ultimately reject the self-centered philosophy she promoted. Oh, right. As she toured the United States on behalf of the Church of Satan, Zena's crisis of faith reached its high point when she learned that most of her father's self-created legend was based on lies and that many of his works were plagiarized. What, from the mystery teachings? So the oldest lie on the earth. Who knew he just plagiarized the oldest lie? No, this wasn't the reason. When jealousy and spite motivated Anton LaVey and his admirators, Disney Barton and actually endangered Gina's life. What? So they threatened her life. She could no longer continue to cover up her progenitor's true character in good conscience. This behind-the-scenes tension should be kept in mind when viewing of hearing Zena's interviews for that time. Right. So have compassion, guys. Have compassion while you look at the Satanist interviews she did before, and just because we tell you that her father was the bad guy. Right. And she somehow was doing evil as well, but somehow the father is just a bad guy because he just bred her and groomed her. Well, who knew? So just because she recognized that, now she rebelled against him and went and smashed her own way. Still worshiper of the light. Smashed. So they're not saying anything here. They're just trying to sugarcoat it. According to Zena's homepage, remaining members of the church. Why aren't they getting quotes from people? Statements. Just the homepage. Remaining members of Church of Satan and the LaVey family reacted to her resignation by indulging in a typical cult-like character assassination campaign against her. Particularly active in the hostility against Zena, where Blanche Barton, Peter, blah blah blah, these bash, blah blah blah, Santon, and Sandra LaVey. After her renunciation of the Church of Satan, Zena Shrek severed use of her born name LaVey and legally changed her name for all official matters to Shrek. Amazing. In December 30, 1990, open letter to Michael A. Aquino of the Temple of Set. Aquino, the military guy, the naval officer, or some bash, whatever, high official. So I mean, this goes deep. So they needed to make the ritual right, formal. In light of all the factors herein, I also officially sever my given surname LaVey and now prefer to be known as Zena, the warrior princess. As I feel naturally aristocratic, I also have no need for the empty titles of magistra or high priestess that have been bandied about and fought over, smashed. Since then, she does not accept correspondence addressed to Zena LaVey, Skrek, or any variant using the name LaVey. So just pronouncing the name only. So why doesn't she speak of the truth? No, she just wants to block it out. So if she recognized all these truths or all these lies that her parent father was, pushing this and that, why didn't she denounce them? Give details, statements of how they're deceiving. How truly, false the worship of Satan and Lucifer is, and any doctrine that is associated with it that undergoes refurbishment and repackaging. She won't, because truly that's what she did. They gave her a new identity now that the first phase of introducing Satanism was in place, because who knew that now that by doing that, then they can bash Satanism all they want and deny it, even though now it's in effect. The worm is in place. Do as thou wilt. And justifying yourself in doing it because you say, well, if you're doing that, then I can do this and that, and you're a hypocrite, so therefore I can worship this. Exactly, basking on just the relentless things that exist in day-to-day life now. Surely now, day in, day out, you call it normal. But who knew that there was a time in the 80s when they needed a spokesperson to go out there and smash on its behalf? Wow. Because if the hippie movement wasn't enough, surely now with this, right, with this, and they used her, they dolled her up, and who knew? They say during her campaign she felt used and blah, 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 and, they were using her to get memberships, right? They were using her image to boast. Who knew that's what Satanism is? In the book, they say use whatever physical bash you have to use to manipulate. So why is she saying, oh, I realized I was being used and I didn't like it? No, that is the way of the witch. They embrace that. They say, yeah, I'm going to use it no matter what to get what I want. So that was what she wanted. So what's she saying? Was she forced to do that? No, she wanted to. You could say, oh, she was brainwashed to do so. No. She brainwashed you to think that somehow she renounced Satanism. Wow. Wolves in sheep's clothing. So back to this bash. What, 15 years in the making? Really? And now it's a big gallery, another milestone among many. Bash. So you knew a new facelift and now new image. Amazing. Transcripts are easier to find and read. We just made it more accessible for you to get brainwashed. There are starting points. Who knew you could just click on all these highlighted bashes and it'll take you down a rabbit hole? The Civil Conservation Project, right? Conversations has now a robust presence at the heart of our online home. Everyone's connected. No. Furthest thing from it, actually. Just fragile and bashed. Poetry. Of course, you just love poetry. It's your love affair with the abyss. You're like, oh, the forbidden love. Oh, so exciting. Smashed. Wonderful writing. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Our being has always grown and evolved. Yes, we believe in evolution. Woohoo! Through listening to our listeners and to the world as much as listening to our guests. Just listening relentlessly, putting out our feelers, temperature checking any orifice we can find, and bastering until perfection, golden crisp. All the while you think you're just amazing. You're the idol, but no, you're cooked through. Dry bone. Dry, dry, dry. This is more true than ever before. Really? No. And we are honored by every voice and life that joins this adventure, even for an hour. I believe that the people and projects and energies alive in our community and its kindred places are nothing less than the generative narrative of our time. What a bash of nothing that was. Look, she believes in the projects and energies in her community that just somehow push it forward. That's the generative narrative, really? What about the generative love, unconditional love of the Father which created life and brings life forth relentlessly? No, that's just somehow gravity. Yeah. And then it's just up to us to just give ourselves meaning, and we just have the love to dish out relentlessly to who we decide to give love to. Yes. Yes, don't you know, dummy? This is emerging right alongside the destructive narrative that gets all the attention. No, this is the destructive. This is the destruction, all appearing as wisdom. It's not. This is bash. Because why does it have to tell you that, oh, finally, a website that offers nourishment, and we are committed to nourishing, right? We just want to relentlessly just feed you some wisdom by giving you bash, rehash versions of Proverbs, of all these bash stories, the rehash of biblical wisdom. Also, you can just think that you are completely in the right because you do as thou wilt, and you don't even care what the Bible says or what it even means or what it refers to, because it's just bash, and just a lot of people were oppressed in its name and killed because of that, and this and this and this and this and this. Exactly, you have it all figured out, right? No. Lost. Just tortured by your mockery, tortured by your rejection, tortured by your relentless strive to somehow not trip in the dish that you can't even see that you're tripping over relentlessly, all because you're blind and can't see. All while you are relentlessly in what? You're in the way of the knowledge of good and evil. Why? Because you ate from it. And you believed it. You believed it being void. So surely that is what that's truly the sustenance that you think that you call life. And that is for you to synthesize. And that's why you have all these bash. I feel this and I feel the weight of the world, and that's why I want all the people to gather on my website and just relentlessly, guys, come on, go out and communicate your experiences and this and help people feel better. Oh, what shame. Because now I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and bash the face of books is, and wonderful writings and pause newsletter and ventures on the road. Woohoo! Flesh and blood in the old-fashioned flesh and blood. The morning ritual bonds as a beloved Saturday morning ritual. Who knew that they're just ritualizing into the abyss? Who knew? Who knew? And what are they saying? Oh, it's just endless, because
The history of rebellion is rife with burnout. Burnout, which Parker Palmer has defined as violating my own nature in the name of nobility. Then you have the irony of this moment.
CBC Radio presents Brainwashing with Bash Who Cares. And it's just the same bash, bash, bash. It's the same frequency, just the same feel, just so desolate, just void, nothing. Clear. It's a bash music of so bash, bash, bash. I suppose to fire more electrons in your bash neurons, and who gives a bash? But at the same time, you believe it all, and you're like, wow, so deep thinking. Wow, just so deep. Give it to me deeper, deeper. Yeah, deep, 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 deep. Shallow, shallow, shallow too, because shallow is what I love best. Smashed.
Habit where we are freer psychologically and practically to be rebels. But the forms and institutions we're dealing with don't need smashing. Most of them are imploding.
Most of you are already smashed. You're blaming the institutions or sorry that you say are smashing you, but who knew that the smasheth had created that smasheth? In the sense of build the places where you actually go in to smash. So what are you doing? You have no clue. Apparently you just build things to make business, to trade, to get coin, to disperse, traffic. You're trafficking yourself, okay? Because who knew that the greatest currency is life? I mean, that's all there is. The only current, life, everlasting currents. That's why it's a current. You cannot destroy it. What are you doing? It does not die, but you can believe it to die in the sense of you can eat. You could eat from that which tells you that you are in need to live when you're already alive. Wow. Pinocchio, you're Pinocchio. Supposedly you were created by some bash guy, and you have the Satan has to promise you, oh, you just by doing this you're alive. No, you're alive. You could be deceived to believe you're not, and then thou just do as you will, because somehow you're just hamburger meat that just firing chemicals, and that's all you are. So don't even try, just this and that, just die, right? Wow, what desolation. Of course, no wonder you just suffer and die, and you don't give a damn. Do as I will, and you cry and cry and cry. Who knew? Because, and then that's why they have to create bash podcasts like this, where deep thinking and bash, addressing some bash, the truth. They address the truth, but then they spin it. Who knew? Because who knew in order to deceive you, they need to use and abuse the truth. Okay? So, and then by doing so, they're like, wow, it just sounds true, but I didn't know it was like that because, oh, they spun it just amazingly. Wow, now it's just amazing. It all comes together now. Smashed. And what actually, and what it actually is, you ignore. But it's still, the truth cut it deeper than any rabbit hole that could ever be created and for you to follow. The truth cut deeper than any just bash fantasy. So eventually, the truth catches up to you. In the sense of, you cannot hide forever. No one can. And that's truly burnout, okay? Trying to hide is burnout. No, but they used to call it psychological burnout. Now it's emotional burnout, bash, nothing.
Voting all on their own. Many of our acts of rebellion are in the first instance acts of creation.
Oh.
And that may be something importantly different.
Oh, the rebellion is creation somehow. Wow. Stupidity. Okay? Rebellion is synonymous to creation. Woohoo! Creation of what? Suffering, perhaps, in your bash mind. Okay, this person is bash.
As Courtney Martin has written, from the mantra many of us grew up internalizing that we are supposed to save the world.
I needed to reorient myself, have a totally different relationship with rebellion that would last me a lifetime and was honoring of the lifetimes of rebellion that have come before me. That here I thought I was just going to graduate and head out into the world and be super efficient.
Blogger.
I'm a little suspicious of efficiency. And
right, so she was taught, exactly, brainwashed. You're brainwashed to believe, do whatever you want, go out and be somebody, whoever you want. And don't even matter, don't care what anyone thinks, this and that, reach for the skies, darling, go, go, go. I want to give you a better future than I was given, and all this other bash. You will save the world. So instead of, some image that you think Satan is deceiving you, no, parents are doing it themselves. Why? Because they believe the lie themselves. They have to in order to not jump off a bridge immediately. Right? Desolation. They're alone, trying their best, but somehow it's not good enough. Who knew? Who knew a man could not save himself, let alone another? And you're still denying the love of the Father. Still. Well, who knew? Who knew that it's because your self-awareness, you're just in shame. You think yourself alone. You think you have to carve out a life and a future for yourself, all with your discipline and self-control and all this bash notion of nothing. Self-help yourself into some bash trauma abuse center. Amazing. And who's the other bash in the podcast? Parker Palmer. Honors and awards, of course, just relentlessly just awarded, loved by the world. Just loved by the world, just loved by the world. Accreditation for council graduate medical education, blah, blah, blah. Created Play Palmer, the Courage to Teach Award. Wow, he's so courageous. The Religious Education Association, an association of professors, practitioners, and researchers in religion and education. So just he's a temperature checker and baster. And he's put out there in your face while it all shapeshifts, okay? Steering, okay? Who knew that it was organized? Who knew? Who knew that Satanists are organized? Wow. And no, only activists are organized because the people believe in the people. Wow, smashed. You know nothing. Courage to Teach program for K-12. Woohoo! Across the country and parallel programs for people in other professions, including medicine, law, ministry, and philanthropy. Wow. Paul was born in Chicago. Right before World War II. Grew up in Wilmette and Kenilworth, Illinois. Who knew? He studied philosophy and sociology at Carleton College, where he graduated in 1961 before going to complete Doctor of Philosophy. Amazing. Berkeley. Blah, blah, blah. Palmer became involved with the Religious Society of Friends. The Quakers are members of a historically Christian group of religious movements formerly known as the Religious Society of Friends. Historically Christian. Because who knows what this is? Just some league of the League of Nations and all this bosh of bosh. In name only. Who knew that the word Christian is used and abused just like the life that you use and abuse? Who knew? All to serve your purpose, and somehow you believe it and you don't, and you deny it, but you use it. Only when it's useful to you to use it. Usually against someone else. He has published a dozen poems, blah, blah, blah. Amazing, amazing, amazing. American author, educator, and activist who focuses on issues in education, community, leadership, spirituality, and social change. He is the founder and senior partner emeritus of the Center for Courage and Renewal. Who knew that there's a Bash Center of Renewal and Courage? Wow, you can go to a center and apparently just receive relentless courage and renewal. Or they're the ambassadors of coral and renewal. Wow. What a shame. It's like a circus. Go to the circus and be defiled, distracted, and just brainwashed to just boast, and walk over fire. Amazing. Who knew? Who knew you could cut, slice, and dice, and contort, and shapeshift, and switch, and manipulate, and take out, and all things of the flesh, right? And that wonders you. That just stupefies you. You're like, whoa, how is that being possible? This must be magic. Wow, who knew? You're bashed. Who knew the flesh dies? Who knew the self-aware bash dies? And it surprises you. Oh, no. So what is it that the living sees? What is it that life is? What is it that you're in? You're the image of the Creator. Yes. What do you see? What do you worship? You worship community, leadership, spirituality, and social change. Somehow they're all the same, right? No. You've been split to think that they're all separate things that you need to somehow fill yourself with. And in name only, fight for. Because who knows what education is if not just brainwashing, being the relentless life out of you, telling yourself that you're building some sort of CV. Smashed. Community, a sense of void belonging by giving you some counterfeit of, identity. Leadership, boasting yourself to think that you can come up with ways and solutions to the problems that you've created all along while abusing yourself and others. Wow. And spirituality, wow, who knew? It's to you, it's just somehow that you just sit down and blast and go to the astral planes with baby Buddha and huff and read relentless deep books and this and that and this and this and this and all boasts and some relative fractal morality and worship of the light, and you say that's spirituality. And of course you love the word social change, the molecule word called social change, because you believe yourself to be the change. Aw, wow, no. You are the receiver of the ultimate true promise. Yes, life everlasting. But no, you don't see it. So that's why you have this guy. To go to his center and just be filled with courage and renewal. Yes, because he promises it. Because he called it the center. He's a senior partner. No, the Holy Spirit is the only renewal. Nothing else. And of course, they're going to say, oh, it's you, the rebel, the creative power.
Part because I crave it so much. And I think that that's a very generational thing. And emotions aren't efficient. And I think rebellion in many ways isn't efficient and never will be.
Is inefficient and never will be? What are you saying, Bosh?
I'm Krista Tippett, and this is On Being. Rebellion was the subject of the 2014 PopTech conference, where I sat down for a cross-generational conversation with journalist and author Courtney Martin, together with her friend and mentor, the Quaker wise man Parker Palmer. We spoke on stage at
the wise man, Quaker man, her groomer,
Opera House in Camden, Maine. We have been looking forward to being here all year. And what we're going to do is delve into the human aspect of rebellion, the inner life of rebels, and that is a complicated and sometimes messy space. If this generation does rebellion differently, generatively, resiliently, I think it will be in part because of a new redemptive commitment that I'm aware of in the world that is very much on display here at PopTech, to connect inner life and outer life, inner work and social change, to be reflective and activist at once, to be in service as much as in charge, and to be wise in learning from elders and from history while bringing very new realities into being.
Okay, this is all it's just, she might as well be channeling right now. She sounds like some brainwashed, recipient of Palladian knowledge and wisdom. It's just smashed. What's she saying? Nothing. Telling you some sense of this is what you need to do to somehow get better into into a place where you can finally live in peace and harmony and bash. Nothing.
For this age. Courtney Martin and Parker.
For this age, because she apparently knows what's good for this age. Right? What we're missing is actually just the kitchen table and the relentless communication, blah, 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 this and that, and this, tolerate, accept, love, this, nothing. Smashed. Wow, you don't think the hippies were saying this way back? And you say, no, it just wasn't enough of them. No, exactly. They did it, they spread it, and now it's that you live and worship. And it's redundant. It just happens, it happens again, it repeats, day in, day out. Because you're programmed to believe that that's what it is. You're working for something, but you're going nowhere. You're just relentlessly kept in place.
Palmer are two of the wisest thinkers I know, and they're two of the wisest teachers I know, on two places across the generational spectrum about the work and the gift of creating transformative, life-giving structures for our world by becoming
Wow, what a truckload of nothing. Blah, becoming, blah, bleep, blah, nothing.
Formed, life-giving people. And so
she said, how do we give life? By giving life, right? What is she saying?
Thinkers I know, and they're two of the wisest teachers I know, on two places across the generational spectrum about the work and the gift of creating transformative, life-giving structures for
transformative, life-giving structures. To give. Guys, you just need to give transformative, life-giving structures. What bad.
our world by becoming transformed, life-giving people.
By becoming transformed, life-giving people. You're bashed. You're a woman. You're the mother of all life on earth. Are you bashed? Yes. So somehow we just all need to become, givers of life. What life are you talking about? The life that you relentlessly murder and just scrape out of your body and just flick it like a booger? Amazing. You say, no, it's emotional too. Then why do you make jokes about it and just try to take some shame out of it? And somehow saying, depression, see, now we're free. Smashed. No, nothing.
And so I want to start by asking the two of you to talk about what that word rebellion connotes for you. I mean, what your life experience has brought you to think about when you think about rebellion. And to reflect on that a little bit in terms.
Rebellion means going against that which is, okay? The fire, okay? Defiance. Why? Who knows? But it's just there, right? To you, you're like, oh, why rebel without a cause? Apparently, trying to swim upstream somehow just for the fun of it, even though it's just futile. You say, no, the salmon goes upstream, so you're just like the salmon. Really? Are you going upstream so that you can procreate and then live? No. You're going against the current also you can do as thou wilt. And not procreate. And not be in truth. And not live in what? In obedience to the Father's ordinance. No, you won't. So you just go in the current just to go against the current. Just to somehow just bash. Do as I will. And along the way, if something sounds cool, you're like, oh, yeah, as long as it serves me for a while, and then I'll go and search more truth and the better truth and this. No. You're lost in your relativity.
Of, where you started, where you came from. And I'd like to start with you, Parker. You came of age in the middle of America, in the Midwest, in the 1950s. You went on to do graduate work at Berkeley and to become a community organizer in Washington, D.C. in the 1960s.
I think
so
for me...
who knew that he was during the civil rights era time, right? So he was a pawn. He was part of the people that sold us into further slavery. The slavery that was already bestowed, the slavery of being self-aware. The split in shame. All because you believed yourself void of what you already were living. But who knew that there's resolve in the Creator's creation? Despite knowing that you would succumb to temptation, it's still there for you to return to the Father. Who knew that's the most fair and just? And you say, no, God's the most unfair. If God had been the most unfair, why not just create you and say, smash and worship me, otherwise I just slay you and kill you. So, if the Creator truly knows all things, so he knew man was going to disobey him. So he knew that there's a resolve. The creation is there, so you can always return to the Father. Okay, it surely is a choice. It's the most fair. It's the most loving. Non-oppressive, not demanding. The Word of God is alive, so it's there for you to see and seek refuge in it. If you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear His call, okay? And of course you do, because you're created in His image. So any other thing is just denial and just deceived. You've been deceived. But no longer shake away and say no. Seek refuge in truth, for that is the only protection against defilement, such as this deep thing that they're going to sell you here. Based on education, community, leadership. Because we're all leaders, right? Apparently. No. What are you doing? who knew that there is a way, and the only beacon of truth is Christ, who had revealed the way, who had spoken to those who will follow him. For surely it is the Creator's love that the promise of life forever to live with him forever is there. So which one are you? Which one will we all be? Well, only the Creator will know, and that's the ultimate judgment. Which none of us have, an inclination. That is the ultimate wisdom of the Creator himself. So is it not for us to merely worship and glorify the Creator in the living, despite what it may mean for those who worship him truly, fully, and with all their love? For it is the love that they receive of the Father, and they love their enemy, yet they will not cower and, deny his name, even when threatened with death. So who knew that is freedom? That is being free of any social obligation, bash, basically kneeling down to man's authority. No true follower of Christ will ever bow down to any man authority. Never. Never, ever, ever. Perhaps in name only, but perhaps that's gone far too long, where people are just comforted in thinking that they're followers of Christ, but still going along with all the bestowments of the worship of the ways of the world. So of course, there will have to come a time, and there comes a time when no longer shall the truth be ignored. It cannot be. It will not longer be ignored. And it's not by man's will that it's occurring. It's because it's, everybody's just fed up, okay? Everyone's fed up, but they don't know why. They fed up, and who knew that they could say enough is enough, okay? What's enough? Well, we're about to find out, and truly then we'll see what we are worshiping, because you can deny it all the while, ignore that question all along, all the while, but when that time comes, you'll surely see what everyone is worshiping, and it will scare you to death. And they're counting on that. For truly that's when the ultimate solution, the ultimate slaying will take place. It has to take place. And it relentlessly happens day in, day out. Everybody is slayed by the lie relentlessly. So what is going on? Well, who knows? But you just say, oh, it's just so sad.
The awakening into rebellion was a slow process. Certainly to be born in the 50s in a white upper middle class suburb of Chicago, as I was to labor under the illusion that all was right with the world. My first wake-up call came when I went to Union Theological Seminary in New York City for a year, until God spoke to me and said he wanted me to get the hell out of the church.
Right. Ha ha ha. Hilarious. So until I listened to God and he told me to, so is he saying the church as in the actual building and going and giving offerings and this and thinking yourself a Christian or a worshiper of Christ in name only? Because who knew that doesn't mean that you're a Christian? Just going to church, some bash place, with a little priest and a friar or whatever. Nothing.
And so he sent me to Berkeley, of course.
Oh, so he sent me to academia, right? Oh, what a shame. Secular. So he sent me to be a secular bash, and now I'm bashing you with my courage and renewal philosophy. Self-help to the 33rd degree.
Where I spent most of the 60s, and that was, a huge education in the streets as well as in the classroom. In fact, more in the streets than in the classroom.
Okay, I might come back to this, but so far this is bash, and it's not worth your time nor my time to just sit down and listen to this lie. Okay, we'll end it there. Worshiping the Lord, Amen. The true living God who giveth life unconditionally, yes, Amen. Forever and ever, Hallelujah.